Hey there guys, welcome to Anthony Reviews where Anthony reviews. When I was a kid, I didn't have a whole lot of Power Rangers stuff. I was mainly focusing on things like Star Wars and Batman, but I did like Power Rangers. And in 1999, that Christmas that year, I got my hands on the Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue Megazord. Now, when you're a kid, obviously time goes by, you'll lose things change, but now, in the modern day, I've been able to reclaim this childhood toy of mine. I'm essentially buying my childhood. Getting an item like this is obviously very nostalgic and almost like a time capsule. Inside you'll find things like stickers and of course this little booklet, which I've always loved. I love getting these little pamphlets and kind of seeing what other toys you could get, no matter what toy line it was for. A pretty simple way to make kids feel like they need to buy more. With something like this, you can see all the sort of items that they were selling for Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, whether that was action figures or vehicles or different kinds of Megazords or just Zords for kids to enjoy. It was definitely an embarrassment of riches when it comes to Power Rangers. That Super Train was honestly something that I would have loved as a kid, but sadly that was never something I ever really got. Look, you can even get a coupon to save on, what is that, fruit gummies? And on the back you can see other Bandai items, which, once again, very time capsule-esque. Another thing that reminds me of the past is, of course, stickers. Stickers are not something that I'm really good at applying, but hey, we'll do our best when it comes to this set. They are very shiny though. I can't hate that. And of course, with any kind of transforming Megazord thing, you're going to want instructions, both on how to apply the stickers and how to, well, transform the thing that you bought. They are pretty nice and easy to read. Here you can see the styrofoam that the toy comes in, and once again, remember having toys in this sort of styrofoam piece? It's kind of exciting to see. Here we have the 5 Zords on display, completely stickerless of course. This is how you would receive them out of the box, and it's how we're looking at them for the first time. Even without stickers, you can just see how much detail there is. As you can see, we have 5 Zords to represent the 5 Power Rangers on the team, all different vehicles, and once you get them all out and stickered up, this is what essentially they would look like. They look nice on their own, but adding those sort of metallic shiny stickers does add a lot to sort of spice up these 5 Zords and make them look pretty cool. As of right now, they just look like cool toy cards. Let's start by looking at Pyro Rescue 1, the red Zord for, of course, the red Power Ranger. This one, in case it wasn't obvious with the sort of rescue theme, is a fire truck. It's a big red truck with these shiny silver sort of stickers, and of course when you think of a fire truck, you're only going to think of a certain thing, either water or of course a ladder, and that's exactly what this fire truck will come with, is a sort of ladder gimmick. You can extend this little piece out of this little shaft, and then there you go. You've got something that doesn't really look like a ladder, but is supposed to sort of resemble a ladder, I guess. If you can't tell, those look like hands, so they might be used for something else later on in the Megazord. Overall, I do think that this is a nice sort of big red vehicle. If you're going to want to play with something, it's probably going to be sort of a red truck, and I think this accomplishes that. Moving on to Aqua Rescue 2, we have the Blue Ranger Zord, which I guess instead of a fire truck is more of a water truck. See, it's this big blue truck, and if you're going to sort of take out fires, you're going to want to have a lot of water there to sort of use. That, of course, comes with the sort of gimmick of this toy, which is these sort of cannons on top, which I guess are sort of water cannons that can sit on top of the vehicle and rotate if you need them to. Overall, there's not a whole lot going around with this one. It's a pretty simple blue vehicle, but it does have a sort of nice size to it, and I do like the colors of it. I do like its sort of big blue cab in the front. Simple, but it gets the job done, I would say. Next up, we have Aero Rescue 3, which of course belongs to the Green Ranger. This is the smallest of the vehicles so far, but is obviously going to be more of an air vehicle, so you're not going to have sort of this giant jet, and it's going to be used pretty importantly with the Zord later on. Main gimmick with this is sort of the rotating pieces on it so that you can fly, kind of like a Harrier jet, which is pretty cool. I do like that playability feature, and on top of it, you do have these sort of rotating fans on top, which just adds a bit more, I guess, realism to it. As I said, it is the smallest one of the bunch, so there's not a whole lot to dig into, but for what there is, I do think that it looks good and gets the job done. Next up is Haz Rescue 4 and Ned Rescue 5. We're going to talk about these at the same time just because, well, they're the most similar out of the bunch of the Zords here. Yellow here is nice and chunky, very angular, which gives it a cool sort of truck feel. especially when compared to the sort of Pink Ranger Zord, which is very clearly supposed to be an ambulance. You know, it's that side of rescue, is rescuing the sort of people that are involved. I do think they both accomplish these looks very well. The gimmick is the same on both of these vehicles. You sort of take the back piece of it and you fold it down so that things like people and vehicles can be loaded into there for sort of rescue mission purposes. As I said, I like how chunky these are. I like how sort of solid vehicles they feel. They are simple like the rest of them, but they are good. Now, once you have all 5 together, it of course is time to sort of build that Megazord, you know, the reason we're all here. Let's start with 5 and 4 first. These are simple, they are legs, so you just flip the bottom pieces down, and there you go, you've got legs. Additionally, you can also take the pieces back here, flip them back, so we can have those sort of ports open for the following Zord after this. They look smooth and clean, and I like it. Blue here is a pretty cool gimmick. You take the sort of backs of the truck here, split them apart, rotate them down, and as you can see, we've got the starting of a whole leg and waist area. You click it inside, and you have what essentially looks like somebody from the lower half down. Getting into red, we have the torso and arms, so you're going to split this part here, more rotation in certain pieces, which, you know, is complicated enough, I would say. Flipping the arms forward, and you're really seeing this sort of body form here. With these clips on the bottom of this piece, we'll go ahead and put those on top of blue, and they clip on just nicely. The last Zord involved, of course, is going to be green. The smallest is going to form the head. We're going to flip this piece up, revealing the very red head inside, and then just kind of put some pieces to kind of get it all together in shape and form so that it can sort of click into the top very smoothly. Very simple. Everything that looks like it can move pretty much can move. Then you take it to the top here, place it down into the top of red, and then click, you've got your head. Let's go ahead and get these hands out. So this is a bit awkward because of the gimmick. You kind of have to pull it out, push it back, you've got a hand. And then, you know, just to make this thing truly special, let's go ahead and put the sword it came with in its hand just to kind of give it that full Power Sword Megazord feel. And there you go. For what I feel is a pretty straightforward transformation, we have the full Lightspeed Rescue Megazord. And I think that it looks really cool. It's pretty simple, you know, in terms of all the pieces. It's nothing too drastic or crazy, but especially with how clean it is and how the stickers sort of amplify certain pieces of the body, I think that this comes off really, really well. I think that it cuts a nice silhouette. I think that for the most part, you do get to see all the colors, generally speaking. You know, it is very red prominent, but with a head like that, I do think that it looks good. I like the visor. I like the sort of crest on his forehead. Like I said, do you see a lot of green? Maybe from the back, yeah, but more than that, not really, which, yeah, is a bit unfortunate, but without that, though, it still looks like a solid Megazord. Let's talk about the sort of features of the arms here. These can come out to sort of create this sort of launching fist action. It comes off as a bit awkward. In the show, these are sort of ladders. Here, it doesn't look like that, so it is a bit weird, and like I said, whenever you're trying to sort of push the arms back in, you have to be careful, because if you sort of push them in too much, then you're not going to have the hands viewable anymore. In terms of a Power Rangers Megazord, I do feel like it cuts a very good silhouette, even if it is a little bit small compared to Megazords from either America or Japan. It does have a sort of size issue, but I don't really necessarily call it an issue. It's just how it looks. You know, there's another Megazord that comes in the series that is obviously much, much bigger. I don't have that one. But for this one alone, I do think it has a very sort of superhero, blocky robot look, which pretty much exactly what I want from this Megazord. This sort of blocky, human-made feel is pretty much exactly what I'd want from something like this. Despite some of its faults, ultimately, it all works for me. I'd like to take this moment to talk about where this Megazord came from. This came from the collection of Michael Stroud. Michael Stroud was a lifelong fan of Power Rangers. When he was young, he moved to Hawaii after his parents' divorce with his grandfather, and he learned about Power Rangers and clearly, like me, became a collector of it. After that, as you can see, Michael became a magician, and he could tell how successful he was doing based on what kind of Power Rangers toys he could buy. We've all been there, where the sort of drive is what we love and what we collect. And I would just like Michael to know, wherever he may be, that his Megazord is in good hands.
Thank you so much for coming out this evening all the way to your homes to watch this show. We have one more Magic Vision left next month, so tell your friends. And Emma, thank you very much for everything you've done tonight.
Hey, Emma!
Stick around for a few minutes if you'd like to visit. And happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thank you all so much for watching my video on the Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue Megazord. It's always really cool to sort of reclaim something from your childhood, especially if it meant something to someone else almost as much as what it means to you, or potentially even more. We're all sort of collectors in this game, so it's cool to sort of come together and really join, as a community, I guess if you'd say. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I do other Power Rangers videos and other videos in general. Feel free to subscribe for more videos in the future. And I guess that is all pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this again, and take care.